Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page. The name of it is Star Nations Magazine, Radio Network, and Publishing. Welcome to the daily live stream that I do every day, or practically every day anyway. There's an occasion when I might take a day off or have to move things around for business meetings and that kind of thing. But welcome. Today is Wednesday, November 7th. And it's kind of cold here. It's not like horribly below zero kind of stuff, but the wind is pretty strong and it's pretty cold, and it's one of those days you just kind of want to stay indoors and maybe bake or turn the fireplace on or something like that. Yeah, it's quiet at my house. That doesn't happen all that often. It's quiet. Although Paul is still home from vacation, he's cleaning out the garage and that sort of thing, and doing recycling. So he's busy. Mom is busy with the after election, I was going to say propaganda. You know where that goes. The talk shows and that sort of thing that are talking about who got elected, who didn't get elected, and that kind of stuff. So she's busy with that. And George is at puppy daycare. He's at school right now. And so he's having a good time playing, I'm sure, playing with his friends. And so it's quiet. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Doesn't happen very often. Hey, Rochelle. Rochelle's in the chat. Hello, Rochelle. She says, I received your message regarding Leslie and about my cats. Oh, good. I saw that. I saw it in the messenger chat, and it looks like you guys are going to connect, and that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. So I'm taking my phone and I am going to this live stream broadcast and share it out, okay, before we get any further down the road. I just have to locate it. Here we are. Turn down the sound. And I liked it, and I'm going to share it. You know where I usually share it, right? to my news. As long as I spell correctly. And I'm going to ask them to join. There we go. We'll get that posted. And then I usually always do the closed groups and for Star Nations. And so I'm going to let them know that I'm live streaming. Yeah, there we go. That it actually is pretty easy and very quick. There we go. There, that's done. Let's see who's in the chat now. Oh, let's see. We have Elise is here. Hello, Elise. Good afternoon. And Julie Hedges is here too. Hello, Julie. Hello, Julie. I'm so glad to see you in the chat. I don't know if you guys caught my show last night, Communications from Home. I think the people who are in the chat right now, I know that you guys are there. But who's ever watching going to watch the recorded live stream, it was, for me, it was great, number one. But I had this feeling like 3/4 of the way through, I was feeling kind of overwhelmed. And it's not because the information was like really intense or anything like that. It's just that I could feel, being the empath, right? I could feel George, even though he was sleeping. I could feel Paul's emotions, and I could feel Leslie's and my own. And so it was kind of overwhelming. And I had to kind of process that after the show because, I have my Merkabahs active, right? And so I was checking in with my team, my spiritual team, asking them what that was all about, because I trust my protection, and so it was just a lot of emotions all at one time, and so what I found out about that is that when we're in the center, right? Um, the phrase "I'm the glue," right? And it's true. I'm in the center of all of this in my family, and um, adding George to the mix kind of up the ante, right? And so the overwhelming that I was feeling from their emotions, that's what that was about. Is that if what happens if I should get a cold or get sick or something like that? All those what ifs. And so I had to address the mental mind situation. And so I was able to do that last night. But I wanted to share that with you because, when the live stream hosts, when we do our shows, we really do um, select topics. Usually our spiritual team brings us the topics, and we're in it. We're all in, 100%. And so that I just wanted to share that with you, that when we have our shows, we really are sharing our heart and our soul with you guys. And so last night was a prime example of that. And we learn a lot from our shows too. We learn a lot about our personal strengths and weaknesses, of course, but we also learn a lot about our spiritual life. Even though we may be the show hosts, and we're actually teaching along the way too. Yeah, it was very interesting though last night. It's not the first time that Leslie and I have worked together, but yeah, it's the first time with George, and it was kind of emotional. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you were there for the live show, I hope you enjoyed it. There was a lot of fun parts, that's for sure too. Right. And Julie saying hello to everybody. Hey, Bonnie, my buddy Bonnie's here. Good to see you in the chat, Bonnie. And Elise says hello to everybody. Julie Hedges is one of our show hosts, our live stream show hosts. Her show is called the Tarot Journey. It's on the third Monday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Julie is agreeing with me. We bear it out. Yep, 100%. We're all in, that's for sure. And Jean is saying, love your shows. Well, thank you, Jean. Really, thank you so much. It's nice to get some feedback. We don't get it very often, and so sometimes we feel like we're kind of talking to the air, but we're not. I know we're not. When I look at the numbers and the numbers of people who are watching our live stream shows, we're averaging about 20,000 a month. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And we can tell those numbers much easier than we did with Blog Talk. When we were on Blog Talk radio for internet radio, it was kind of hard to really get really good numbers. And so they were there, they just weren't presented very well. And so with this anyway, we have a better idea of the number of souls that we're reaching out to and hopefully helping, right? Hopefully helping. So Julie says, oh, she's saying hi to Rochelle and Elise. And my cousin Barb's in the house too. Hi there. I love it when I see you in the chat, Barb. And Stephanie's here. Good. Yay, Stephanie. So good to see you in the chat. Julie's saying, Leslie has worked with my Molly in Samhain. I really like that Leslie said George likes to singing it out, George. I know. And I have to tell you that George was a little bit quieter last night. He wasn't really barky when we got home. And then he was like out, fell asleep, out like a light. Literally had to wake him up. So this makes no sense, really. You have a dog, a puppy, who is sleeping sound asleep on his back, snoring, right? And you have to try to wake him up to go out at I think it was like 10:30 or quarter to 11 or something like that, so that he can go out and go to the bathroom and stuff, and so that he can go back to bed, right? It doesn't make any sense. Although, when you kind of look at it, it's like do that at 10:30 or 11 to get him up to go out, and then he's up for another 30 minutes or so, and then goes back to sleep. Or you let him sleep, and then you're up at 2 a.m., to let him out, and then he's up to play for like an hour or more. So, yeah, you guys know, it. If you've ever had puppies, you know what that's like. And Lisa's saying this is the Neshi non-shooting. Yeah, one of these days we'll actually name it. Stephanie's saying long morning. Oh, you had one of those, huh? Yeah. Those can be tough. Although, there again, did I do that stuff in the morning or at night? I'd rather do it in the morning than at night, because then it splashes over to other things. So for those who are just, watching the live stream, you're thinking, what the heck is this all about? What is she talking about? I do a daily live stream, and it's based on the card draw that I do in the morning. I connect with my spiritual team, and I ask them, what's the most important energy for us to know about today for our highest good and the highest good of all, right? And that we can share with others. And I do that every morning. And so we've been doing this since May. And this, I think, is like our fourth card deck that we're on. And this is a relatively brand new deck. It's by Kyle Gray. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards. The artist is Lily Moses, because you're going to love her artwork. At least I hope you do, because I do. And this is a brand new deck. It was published in 2018 and released in September. So it's really, really brand new. I pre-ordered it, and I have to say, I didn't know anything about Kyle. Never seen his cards before. I was out at Amazon.com. I was looking for a new deck of cards, and Amazon.com, that's my store. When you live out in the middle of out in the country near a small town, you don't get to stores like that, and not very often anyway. And so I went shopping, and this deck kind of jumped off the screen at me. I was looking for a deck that had more Native American feel to it. There are some out there. There's not very good ones out there. I have to admit that. There's just less than a handful, in my opinion, that have good information about Native Americans and some of the culture of the Native American. So, and Kyle, what he's done is he's kind of brought the Native American in. He's brought indigenous people, basically. Native American, Aboriginal, from Australia, the Viking, Celtic, Old Irish, Greek. I'm trying to think. There's another one. What he does is he brings in some of that ancient information and puts it in a way that's more than usable in modern day. And basically, that's what we do here at Star Nations, right? Yeah. So I like that deck. And we're going to get to the first card in just a second. I want to check the chat room. Stephanie says, George sounds like he and Ben have the same nighttime schedule. Yeah, pretty close. Stephanie says, 4 a.m., 4-hour drive to Denver to see the spine doc. Oh, yeah, that's a long morning and a tough kind of appointment. Yeah, she says, psyching myself up for my third back surgery. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, you let us know. Thank you, Rochelle. She's saying, I'll send you Reiki, Stephanie. Yep. And Stephanie, please let us know. Let us know, when you're going to be going in for the surgery. Hopefully, if you could do it like a few days before, right? Because those who have the gift to be able to use Reiki, they can help out a few days before and even a few days after. So if you let us know the dates and that sort of thing, and what hospital, because some people need the physical location to be able to do the kind of work that they do. And and we're more than happy to help you with that. In fact, Julie, is it possible when Stephanie shares her information, can you put it in the spiritual closed group for the healing and prayers? That would be, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds with that, Stephanie, but if you'd like a group of healers that it's like a prayer group, actually, kind of. Lots of healers in there, so that when people need an extra good vibes coming their way or some healing coming their way, it's listed, and we're able to send good healing energy your way. So if you're interested in that, okay? All right. Hey, Anne's here too. Hello, Anne. We were just talking about you this morning, Anne, in a good way. In a good way. We were talking about the clay pots. Paul is trying to get rid of those huge clay pots that we had up on the shelf, and I said, no, those belong to Anne. Oh my gosh. Stephanie says, will do. Rochelle says, oh, Terry Ruel's brother Tom transitioned today. Aw. All right. Well, we'll have to send some loving toward Rochelle, toward Terry's direction. Yeah. Well, you're welcome, Stephanie. And Julie said that she would absolutely list that for you if you'd like. And Bonnie is saying, I totally love your show. I wish I could catch everyone. Well, thank you, Bonnie. I'm just happy whenever I see you in the chat room. I love it when you're here. Yeah, and Stephanie is saying, my favorite type of prayer circles. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm those clay pots, those terracotta pots, and those are yours. And they're going to stay up on the shelf until the next time you come, or maybe someday I'll actually travel to Michigan again. Maybe. We'll have to see. All right, how about the card information? Here's the first card that came this morning. And we've had this card before. Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. Honor your inner knowing. Right. Yeah. So looking at this card, there is like so much going on in this card. You have the cowrie shells, which is in many indigenous belief systems, the cowrie shell is about abundance, prosperity, and it's also a symbol of the feminine, right? She has a sign of infinity over her physical eyes. So much going on in this one. I love the artwork. Did you notice how Lily Moses uses the same color blue in almost all of it's in every drawing somehow, that same color blue. I'm going to try to get her on my show and interview her. I think she'd be a fantastic guest. All right, so when you're taking a look at this, if you take a look around her ears, right? Try to get the camera to focus. There we go. She has a lot of earrings, hoops. Looks like around her ears, and then she has these. I don't know if they're claws or what, right here on both sides. Do you see that? When we're looking at the symbology and what they might represent, whenever you have earrings or anything around your ears on a card draw like this or in your dreams, depends on how many you have and how long they are, and also color and all of that. But it really is more about how much we're hearing, how much we're taking in, and it usually means from spirit, right? But it could also mean your clear audience, how you bring in information, both from spirit but also from the physical world too, right? And it's some of those things that we notice in our physical world, for those synchronicities and signs and symbols and that sort of thing. It's like when we're in the car and a certain song comes on the radio, right? Or if you have, okay, I'm going to date myself a little bit. When you have a lot of CDs and you have one of those CD changers and you have it on random, or if you have a playlist and you have it set on random on your phone, and certain songs just kind of come up, and it seems to be carrying a message for you, okay, because you're listening to it. Yeah, those long earrings. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Margaret's here. Margaret's good to see you, Margaret. Um, Elise says prayers to Stephanie, gentle hugs for healing. And Bonnie says I've been told by people that ask me to pray for certain things, illnesses, issues, that my prayers are powerful and they work. I'm always happy to pray for anyone. Well, that's because you have such a good heart, Bonnie. Bonnie, I've known Bonnie for a really long time, haven't we? We used to work together for the state. And Bonnie, you have such a kind heart. And when you pray for somebody, you pray from your heart, right? And so, yeah, it's good. And I appreciate it. Anytime that you've ever prayed for me, I've always appreciated it. And so to add you to the prayerful people here, that's a good thing. Rochelle, Rochelle is not shy. Rochelle says, Bonnie, I'm having left shoulder surgery November 29th. Could use prayers. See, that's good stuff. You got to ask, right? Otherwise people don't know. All right, so we're going to find out what Kyle has to say about the medicine mother and what the essence of that card means for us today. And it's page 52. All right, so here's the message. Honor your inner knowing. Take action. Do what you know you need to do. Do what you know you need to do. Just that one sentence. It's like, okay, so how many people in the chat room has ever procrastinated? That would be me. I will take the top spot for that list. I do. I'd rather that I didn't, but I do. When it comes to bookkeeping and that kind of stuff, I can find a million things in my house that has to get done before I will sit down and do the bookkeeping, which means that it piles up and then I have to sit down for a couple of hours or a half a day to get it all done, rather than taking the 10, 15 minutes that it might take if I did it a little bit every day, right? And so, how many people in the chat procrastinate or know that there's something that has to be done and you say, I just haven't gotten to it. Okay. It might not be the actual procrastination. It could be fear. You know what needs to get done? Something that you have a fear around for some reason, whether it's, I don't know why, but they want me to say balancing your checkbook, yeah, because that has a lot of stuff to it, doesn't it? When you have to balance that checkbook, and so there's reasons why we sometimes not do what we know that has to get done, that has to be done, and so I'm just gonna look. Hey, Bonnie's gonna help Rochelle out. Rochelle says, since 1984, the year I earned my MSW, since then my intentions are good. But Margaret says, I do. Ruby, I do. Bonnie, I'm the queen of it. Julie says, yes, fear, trepidation. Uh-huh. And Rochelle says, how about just that plain laziness? Yeah, I suppose that's out there too, right? I don't know that one personally. Hint, hint. That would be Okay, I have to think a little bit. Maybe in my 20s and 30s, definitely, you know. Yeah. There again, I could do so many other things than doing the dishes. It's one of the things I've never really liked to do. And yet we have to do them every day, multiple times a day. That and laundry. Although I don't mind laundry. I don't mind laundry. Um, here's a memory. This is from my cousin, Barb. Um, I remember being at your mom's house, my auntie's house, and I was there to visit, and she was doing laundry, and she she said something to me. I know this is crazy. Now I'm paraphrasing. I know this is crazy. She says, but I love doing laundry. I do it every day, and I love to iron. And I said, so that's where I get it from. It's somewhere in those genes because there's not that many people who can actually honestly say they like doing laundry and they like to iron because I do. I don't have a lot of time to get to the laundry, so I always have ironing to do, always. Mom likes creases in her jeans and her blouses ironed. And so it's all mom's ironing that I'm doing. But I really don't mind it. It's kind of a meditation to it. Rochelle says, I use paper plates. Now, are they biodegradable paper plates? Because, here we go again. Which one do you want to do? You want to conserve on water and use it wisely and use paper plates where they could be biodegradable or burnable, as long as they don't have the plastic coating on them, right? I know. Decisions. Elise, did Erin win the election? No, she did not. She did get 3%. I think it was 3% of the vote. So that does mean something in the world of politics. That means that she could be eligible for certain kind of financing if she would take it, which she probably wouldn't if she ran again. And there was something else with that. 3% of the vote. I think she got, is it 1,700? It was over 1,700 votes that she'd gotten. And I sent her a message this morning, and we talked a little bit through Messenger. And she's doing okay. She's doing good. Yeah, it's name recognition too. Name recognition, because when you first start out, nobody knows you. And so now she's got name recognition, and she started a lot of conversations that haven't been broached yet in her district. And so she did that. And so I'm very proud of her. Yeah. Elise says, I love to iron also. Well, one of these days, Elise, when you make your way to Wisconsin, I'm sure I will have ironing that needs to be caught up on. You can always help with that. Rochelle, I use Dixie plates. Okay, well, they're not biodegradable. Dixie's not. Elise says, tell her I'm sorry. Yeah. She's okay though, really. She's learned a lot. I learned a lot from campaigning, and that whole world is totally different. And yeah, it's a real eye opener. It's kind of like looking at the belly of the beast, kind of, yeah. All right, let's see what else Kyle has to say about this card. I'll show it again so everybody knows what we're talking about. Medicine Mother, honoring your inner knowing. Kyle writes, Mother always knows best, they say, and it's true. We all know a maternal figure who is extremely intuitive, insightful, and this Medicine Mother has gone through many ups and downs. She has lived and she has lost. She knows what it's like to suffer and to want to give up. So the medicine of this card is that it's okay to make mistakes and get it wrong sometimes. And it's okay for things to come to an end. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of one chapter and the beginning of something new. The Medicine Mother reminds you that even though you will have low lows, you aren't here to suffer. You're here to be supported and to support others. Let her give you the loving encouragement to take the next step forward. Okay, so on our spiritual teams, remember, we have more than just a couple, more than just, a few handfuls. We could have hundreds or thousands that are helping us. And so when we don't ask for their help, they can't help us unless our life is in danger. And so we need to practice and use that, our spiritual team. And so you will have someone on your spiritual team that fits this kind of description of the essence of this card, the medicine mother. Whether it's Mother Mary or Mother Teresa or the drum mother, or we have someone in that essence, probably more than one. Yeah, they're saying several. And so we need to just ask them for guidance, to ask them, I don't understand this. I don't get this. Or I am feeling really low today. I had to be up at 4 a.m. this morning to go to a doctor's appointment for this upcoming surgery, and I could use a boost. I could use some nurturing. I could use some love right now, right? And so you can ask your spiritual team for that. Or if you're having a situation that you just don't understand, because sometimes we're trying to wrap our mental mind around something to find a logic in it, and there's no logic, or it doesn't seem to be any logic. And so we can ask our spiritual team for assistance. We can ask them, I need help understanding this. Tell me about this. Show me about this. However you bring in information in, right? And they'll do that. Will it be that in that next second? Maybe. And maybe not. Maybe it's going to come to you in a dream. Or maybe it's all in divine timing, right? That when you're ready to hear and receive the information, then it's there. Yeah. We have to pay attention to it. All right. Yeah, and Julie's saying, and her stepping out was a big, like you're talking about Erin, and her stepping out was a big hand in bringing forward all the women who are now elected. Thank her. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and Lee's saying record numbers of women won in their elections. Yes, they did. It was good to see. Hey, Roberta's here. Hello, Roberta. Yeah, and we have two Native American women who were elected to Congress. First time. Yay. That's good stuff. And we should be celebrating that. Is there a lot of work still to be done? Of course. Of course. And we can get to that, and we will do that. But we have to celebrate those milestones too, right? And even though Erin, my niece, I'm talking to my cousin Barb, our niece, even though she didn't win her election, her campaign, she set a precedence. And she had to have a lot of courage, right? Just to even start, even just to run. Oh my goodness, that's not a small thing. And so yeah, there's a lot of thank you, Julie, is stepping out, and for Erin to step out the way that she did, and to be a role model too, right? To be a role model too. So Elise says, girls rule, just takes a bit longer. Well, that's true. It does take a little bit longer, but let's put that in the past, Let's look at it as, all right, we just turned a corner, and we have a voice. We've always had the voice, and now we're using it. You're using it more often and in a bigger way, collectively. That's a good thing. Okay, so what else does Kyle say? He says, there is an old pattern rising up in you now, and it's time to deal with it and release it for good. This is the part of you got to do what you know that needs to get done because there's some healing work to do. There's some old patterns that have come to the surface for you to address, for all of us to address. And if we just, for a moment, just quiet, kind of let our mind kind of go quiet just a little bit and ask your spiritual team, what is it that I am to focus on, turn my attention to? An old pattern. Which old pattern? Because we already know. We already know. He says that you're being encouraged to love and respect yourself enough to take the steps you know you need to take to move closer to where you would like to be. You already know the answers. You know what you need to do. You may have been using delaying tactics or holding back, but now you're being guided to take action. Action requires courage, but your angels and guides are bringing you the courage to move forward. Take one step, just one step. When you do, the next one will be presented to you. Yeah, we all have one. We do. An old pattern that no longer serves us, that is actually a blockage, an interference, some of that debris, right, from our past. It could be from this present life, or it could be from a previous life or a parallel life. Because what happens is that they tend to repeat, right? It tends to repeat itself until we take care of it. Julie said, daring greatly, Brene Brown. Yes, exactly. Was a great morning. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, when we found out a whole bunch of good stuff this morning. And so the other thing that when I was reading this, those delaying tactics and holding you back. Sometimes it takes even more energy to create the delaying tactics and to hold back, right? It takes more energy to do those things than it would be the energy that you need to face and deal with this old pattern that has come to the surface yet again. And so we have a choice. We do. We have a choice. We can, where we place our energy and how we use it. So are we going to choose to pour our energy into the delaying tactic? Or are we going to pour our energy into healing and releasing, removing whatever that old pattern is? Yeah. It's one to think about. It's your choice. We all have that choice. Roberta said, had some big enlightenment over the last few days. Today woke up shaking as to, oh my God, now what? Breathe and trust. Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, when we have those moments when the energy is moving forward for you now, right, Roberta, is that you went through a shift. You went through a change. You had soul growth. And so now you're right. You got to take that big, deep breath in, hold it just for a second. And on the exhale, you're relaxing and you're looking at, okay, what's my next best step? And sometimes that your next best step is to be able to sit down and reflect, take stock, so that you can take the next step forward. Right? Yeah. Hey, Polly Joe's here. Hey, good to see you in the chat. Um, and so when these old patterns come up, sometimes they're in the Akashic record, they're in your DNA. Um, and Polly Joe knows a lot more about this than I do. They're stuck in our bodies, right? Sometimes, not just in our chakras, but in our organs and in our muscles. Those old patterns that no longer support us. And so, in this moment, those that are in the chat, when you turn your attention to what could that be, an old pattern that's coming to the surface. Maybe you already know it. It's been there and you acknowledged its presence. Or maybe it's kind of subtle and you're thinking, I don't know, it could be that one. So when you turn your attention to whatever that is, can you name it? Do you know what it is? That old pattern? I'm doing the same thing. Okay, I think I got mine. Mine is, I'm going to say this publicly. My mom is a perfectionist. And living with a perfectionist is not easy. And growing up with one, you tend to take on some of the characteristics of a perfectionist. And so, and one of those characteristics is making sure that everything that gets done, of course, is the best that you can do, or more than that, even more than that, right? And so it bleeds out into other things and other people in your life. And I know Paul gets so tired of this, and I'll catch myself at it, is that, for instance, he's cleaning the garage. And I came out because he wanted me to say yes or no, what to give away, right? And I walked out there and I was telling him which things that was okay to take to Goodwill. And I said, this really needs to be swept out too. How would you like me to do the sweeping? Do you want to sweep or do you want me to sweep? And my mind's going like, this has to get done and that has to get done. And he says, I got this. Don't worry about it. I got it. And which broom are you going to use? He goes, I just said I got it. Okay, I'll go back inside. But see, in that moment, I realized what I was doing. That it has to be done so that there's no trace of anything in the creases and the crevices. And you got, yeah. So I just had to let it go. It'll be fine. It'll be good. So that's mine. I can name mine because I see it come up every so often, and it doesn't serve me. It's a waste of energy. It really is. And so Julie's saying, big changes here on the new moon in Scorpio. Mystery, magic, dark nights, and alchemy. Ooh. Julie says, thank you for being brave. I know. Yeah, but we do get a lot from our moms. We really do. And from our dads. And sometimes those old patterns are learned. They're not necessarily always from our birth lineage where it just comes through the DNA, right? Sometimes it's a learned trait. And so we have to identify that and just let it go. Yeah. Elisa's saying, your mom and I are too much alike. Well, we'll know how to get along. I'll know how to get along with you. That's for sure then. I have a lot of practice. Roberta says, yep, gave my children some OCD. I thought it was just organized. I know. Paul even says this about me in loading the dishwasher because I have a certain way of putting things in, like the silverware. All the teaspoons have to be together, all the serving spoons have to be together, all the knives and all the forks. So and he was calling me on it, right? I said, well, it could be. I'm not saying it's not. It could be. But really what it boils down to is I don't like getting stabbed by a fork when I'm reaching for the silverware to put them away because it hurts. And at least now I know where the forks are. And if I do that, I may as well get the other ones in their categories too because it's so much easier and faster to put them away. So see, yep, we do learn stuff from our parents. Sometimes it is a learned trait. Hey, Bob Wilbur's here. Bob, it's so good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. Elise says creases in your jeans are necessary. Okay, for some people they are. I don't really care if I have creases in my jeans. Never have. Never have. I'm lucky that that the when you have them in the dryer and the hem kind of gets kind of turned up, and yeah. Sometimes I'll take my hand and or finger and kind of smooth that out a little bit, but a lot of times I don't care. Especially if I'm wearing boots, I don't care. Polly Joe, you are perfect with your dishwasher loading. I know. Hey, listen, when you were here, Polly Joe, I even said, I'm not looking, I'm not watching. You guys do what you need to do. It's going to be good. You guys are doing it. And I walked away. Put them upside down. The forks upside down. Oh, that might work. I'm not opposed to that. I'd have to try it. I'll try it. We're just laughing. LOL. All in its place makes life easier, but now I forget where I put things. Yeah, there is that, isn't there? All right, so this card that came, that's what we're talking about, is the Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. And that is that it takes courage to take action, and we're being asked to take action. To do what we know that needs to be done to heal, release, let go of old patterns that no longer serve us. They consume our energy when that energy could be used for our soul growth in other areas. Creative, it could be used in so many other ways. And so it's really a blockage. It takes away from our joy. Yeah. So that's what this card is about. And we have talked about it a lot. Yes, we have. So that was the first card. Hey, Connie's here too. Hello, Connie. Connie is also one of our live stream show hosts. Her show is Spiritual Mysteries of Life, and it's the last Thursday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And let me tell you, when Connie is doing her show, she's actually channeling a lot of information for us. And I get to produce her show. And so I always say that I get to sit in the front row. And I do. I take notes because there's always an aha or light bulb moment. So that's why. Yeah. So, look for the notifications for her show too, because they'll be coming up soon. You know how fast a month goes by. Julie says, I remember that about the dishwasher. Yeah. Hey, I thought I was doing pretty good. I said, you guys do what you need to do. I'm walking away. So Polly Joy said, take action, the pattern of blocking the fullness of my gift. Blocking what may seem like responsibility. Ooh, that's a good one. So that's almost like a justification, right? That it's my responsibility. Yeah. It's something to think about. All right. So the second card that came is the traveler. Move in a new direction. Move in a new direction. The traveler. I like that color purple in there. And do you see the color blue? We're saying that the artist uses the same color blue in almost all of the cards, and it's there somewhere, and it's in the trim on her sleeve. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's a good one. Move in a new direction. And we've had the traveler before too. We have, but not in this combination. And I'm looking for her. There's a lot of S's. And here's the traveler. The message is welcome any opportunities to travel, either to the outer world or to your inner worlds. The traveler card represents the gypsy spirit within. The opportunity to move in a new direction is coming your way, and ancestral wisdom is encouraging you to welcome it with open arms. All right, so here we go, guys. This one is asking us to take action and letting go of old patterns that no longer serve us. Stop procrastinating about it. Do something about it. Let it go. Release it, heal it, clear it out. Stop wasting our energy on it, right? All right, and this one is saying is that we're moving in a new direction. We have an opportunity to move in a new direction. So we're making energetic room for that. When we take care of this one, we're making room for the new that's coming in. If we don't remove the old, it's taking up space. It's taking up your energy for the new. The new doesn't have enough energetic space. Yep. All right. Julie's saying these cards are amazing, aren't they? I love them. Polly Joe is saying, dang, move in, new direction. Looks like it's time to go. She says, this draw is so for me. Well, yeah, it certainly is talking quite loud, I think, to a lot of us today. And so when we free up that space, that energetic space, moving something old out that no longer supports us, and we're putting a lot of energy into it when our energy could be used elsewhere, right? A better allocation of it. So when we move that out, we have room for the new to come in. And that's what the traveler's about. And so he's saying that going on a trip is an exciting process because not only do you learn about the world, you also learn about yourself. This card often comes up when you're having a chance to go through a process of awakening and understand even more about the amazing qualities you have to share with the world. Often such journeys can be lonely, but this in itself can teach you that you are never really alone and your angels and ancestors are there for you. And I'm going to add the word always. They're always there for us. Roberta is saying we're getting called out. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're being told by Spirit that is to get moving, take action. If you do the work, the healing work that needs to be done to move out that old pattern, it's going to free up so much space, energetic space for that new to come in. And that new that's coming in has a lot to do with our awakening process, our ascension, our vibration. In order for us to even stay here with Grandmother Earth, we have to be in that range of vibration that was with her. If we don't do that, then we're no longer here, right? Because she can't support that vibration. She won't support that vibration. And so that's part of our soul work. And when we do that kind of stuff, that's all about our soul growth. It's all about our soul contract. What we're here to do is to grow and to expand our soul growth. All right, so the road that you're on may be the road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your emotional and spiritual growth. If it isn't about covering outer distance, it's about covering distance within. And you'll be evolving every single moment. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. So here we go. Lighten the load. You know, clear out those old patterns. Yeah. Roberta says the word nudge or the boot is coming up. Well, pretty close. I think this is more than a nudge that we're getting today. Yeah, it's a little bit more than a nudge. And Polly Joe's, guess we have patterns to move tonight. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Polly Joe. I really was. All right. So you're also being encouraged to see how far you've come and how you've really grown as a person, because this recognition will support you in going even further. So I think we got the information that we needed for the energy that was important for us to know about today. And that is to take action, do what we need to do to clear out, release, let go of those outdated and irrelevant, really, old patterns that no longer support us or serve us. They're taking up space. They're taking up our energy that we can be using for this new thing that is this traveler is bringing, that new opportunity, right? Bringing in the new. I love it. I'm going to have to work on that one that came up for me. Letting it go. Let it go. I'm working on it. I mean, consciously, I'll catch myself saying something. It's like, whoop, wait a minute. Delete that. We're not, especially when I'm talking to Paul, just, do it however you feel it needs to get done. I'm going over here. I'm going that direction. So with that, you guys, embrace whatever felt good of the information that we shared today. If it resonated with you, embrace it. See how it unfolds for you, right? Some good stuff in this. Thing is that if we don't take the suggestion, the advice, it's going to come back around again. It's not like this is the only time that we're ever going to get this nudge, and next time it won't be this nudge as gentle and graceful as it was. It'll be a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. You know how that goes. And I'd rather do it now than when down the road when it's the cosmic 2x4, right? Yeah, I'd rather do it now. But if it didn't resonate with you, the information, that's okay. You can just let it lie. It's not for you. If you know somebody that would enjoy the conversation or the information, you can always just share the link with them and be the messenger. That's all you have to do. Yeah. So tonight, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, is Soul Connections with Polly Joe LeBay. It is an evening, an hour and a half, about, of healing and divine messages. Polly Joe works with our spiritual team and with us, our higher self, our soul self, for anything that we want to heal, let go of, hint, hint, that she creates the sacred space and holds that sacred space for us. to do that healing and releasing. And she and her spiritual team assist, and so it can be very graceful, and we can all be together working on our own stuff at the same time. And then once the healing meditation is done, then Polly Jo does a card draw for anybody who wants a card. She does that. It's like a mini reading. And let me tell you, she's spot on. I've been told that many times from comments and that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll see you tonight. I'll be there in the chat. And enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I appreciate you being with me this afternoon. We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Central and 3 p.m. Eastern, for the card draw live stream. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.